Start by taking roll call. My name is Rich Stork and I am the chairperson.
I'm Dean Gonzalez, the treasurer.
Matt Anderson, board member.
Al Powers, board member.
Sue Means, board member.
Tina Heidelberger, clerk.
All right, thank you. You've all got a copy of the unapproved minutes from the September meeting. I'm going to ask if you all had a chance to take a look at it, and if there's any comments or corrections, we can make them right now. If not, I'll be looking for a motion to approve those minutes from September.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So based on our conversation and recommendation from MAP, Chris Niebler, he had mentioned that it's probably proper protocol to get these signed and then notarized each month, and then we keep record of that. So I'm going to take my copy and I'm going to sign it and pass it to everybody for their signature, and then I'll hand that over to Tina, who will get that notarized for us, and then we'll get that posted. Or that's where
I'm sure it can.
And I'll have my notary stamp for next month. I should have it before our next meeting, so.
All right, I'm going to move right into the wastewater operator update. Terry had a busy month. He's on vacation. It's well deserved. I told him not to take his phone with him because we did have some issues this month that he had to deal with. Nothing serious, and I'll kind of let you guys know what that was. But you know, it's been a good year so far. So, Tina, let me know when you're ready, and I'll start with the numbers.
I'm ready right now.
Okay, so as of last month, the total flow into our ponds last month was 245,500 gallons. So 245,500 for the month of September. We had a daily average of 98.20. The high was on 9/1 at 14,930. Low was 9/11 at 75.20. Some of the PMs Terry took care of this month was, I think he wrapped up the initial transfer of the primary pond to the secondary pond and discharged for spring. That was out at our treatment plant. He pulled all pumps last Saturday and serviced all the pumps. That's 2 pumps at the primary pumping station, and then there's 1 pump at the secondary station down by the Bush residence. So all the pumps were, basically said they look good, sound good, everything's working well. Terry has still been working hard on solidifying, getting our permit. He did meet with our representative, Julie and Lou from the MPCA. They went over a lot of records for the past couple years. We are missing some information, so I kind of shared an email this last month stating that we are going to get a notification of out of compliance, I believe. And basically, we're going to need that to, solidify and get the permit. This is just general, like I said, general protocol for the MPCA. So we'll get that notification. It'll indicate what we're missing, and then I'll have to try to go back and find it. It seems like it's the time period after Denny resigned and between Terry, and we had HR Green and their representative, Jay, helping us. So there's some information missing in that little window. I think there was a time that our recording system was down, and we had to chase it by paper, and that's the information. And I think I have that. I'm just waiting for the notification that'll tell us exactly what months. But regardless, if we don't have it, they'll just note it, they'll clear it, they're giving us that opportunity to find it, and then we'll just basically start from scratch at that point. So, still not gonna hold us up getting that permit, it's just another protocol procedure. That was as per a phone call that I had with Lou from the MPCA. Terry did supply me with that bid again for repair around the ponds. I was hoping to have it before our budget meeting this last month. And that repair was $6,800. So if we want to move forward with that, we'll have to talk about it a little bit. I don't know how that fits into the budget, and even if we can get it in this year. That's basically the wastewater update. We'll move into the chairman update. Last month, basically I was dealing with Terry and helping him with the MPCA information. And then the only other thing I think I dealt with was meeting with Tina for a pre-budget meeting before you guys actually had the meeting. So those were kind of my two big items I dealt with this last month. I did receive some informational emails, one from George Wilkinson. He's providing me information on his building plans, and he's looking for what he needs from us. I think I'll respond to the email. We kind of went over it briefly with him. Information I'm going to need is just basically, or we're going to need, is a plan on how they plan on tying into our manhole. As far as what he does to get his main drain over that manhole, that's up to him in the county and everybody else in those properties to work out. We'll just be concerned with how they plan to tie into our manhole. And we'll work with Terry and HR Green, pending what their plans are. And I'll respond to them in an email. That's basically all I had for chairman update. We can move into finance.
Sorry. All right, current checking account balance as of today was $77,602.04. Our investment fund balance was $218,549.85. The cash value balance was $27,958.47. There is an updated budget to date for any expenses through the end of 9/30. And then I will hand down, I'll go right into the approval of bills if that's okay.
Yep.
So East Central Energy was $176.34. That is an automatic ACH withdrawal. LJJ, our monthly fee of $1,700. We received a bill today from Rasmussen for $1,179.73. That was for September charges. We have a renewal for Sensiphone, which is the service that we use that notifies us if there is an issue at the pump house. So it's like a, how would you best explain it, Rich? Is it?
It's a monitoring system.
Okay.
Yep.
USPS, we have a PO box renewal rental for $84. And then we received a bill from the League of Minnesota Cities for $786 for membership dues. So I will pass those down for review.
I have a question, Tina.
Yes.
The post office PO box, it looks like it's about double the price of what we were anticipating.
Yep.
Can you explain that at all, you know?
Nope, let me look and see. But we do need to keep it at least for now because
Right, yeah.
even though we have the mailbox now by the pump house, we still have at least a case of envelopes left before, and with the price of postage, I want to use those up before we change our address to the actual mailbox at the pump house. And that will probably take, I'm guessing it'll take a full year, so I don't think that it's going to be a wasted expense.
I'm just questioning.
Yep, and then we still are gonna fall well within our, we have budgeted, anticipated for next year $1,000 for postage, so we should still be okay for that.
So that's postage and the PO box.
Post, yeah, anything with USPS kind of falls in that bucket.
Okay. Any other questions on the bills? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the bills as stated and documented?
I'll make that motion.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we approve the bills then. All right, old business and expansion information. Dean, what do you have for us?
I was in contact with Chris from MAP last week, and he got back to me yesterday. It sounds like he's into the second phase, which is the grant option, or grant.org. That sounds like he's getting close to the end of that. Sam was our pre-qualification information about the board and stuff, so I think that's all done.
I think we have a document that we have to get signed yet.
Right, and I was wondering about that one that was shown on that email. That might be something that we have to sign and we have to notarize that.
Yeah,
You and me?
Yeah, what I'll do is, I didn't print it out, so I'll print it out,
Okay,
and then I'll stop over, I'll get it signed,
okay,
and then I'll just have our notary at work notarize it. I won't wait for Tina,
okay,
and then I'll just give it to you at that time.
sounds good.
And then you can, I can probably scan it too and send it off to Chris, hopefully that's enough, but then we'll have that documentation, so.
Yeah, if you could scan it, that'd be great.
Yep.
So it sounds like we're moving along pretty well with that. Question is that what kind of timing we're looking at. If we were looking at next year's construction, would it be best to kind of follow through with the Minnesota application for funding, which would probably be voted on in May? And that might be the time frame we'd be looking at. Just a thought.
I guess that's an option. I think it's something that needs to be presented to the expansion people, how we kind of move forward with that. Kind of the timeline that I'm seeing, I think we should probably get together, I don't know, after the first of the year and kind of put a plan together.
Right.
For the following year like we did last year, even though we did run into a bunch of delays based on going through the paperwork. But in my opinion, I think we should get together with the group and try to gather everybody up and finalize it. One other thing that we might need to grapple with, and I don't know if you guys talked about it during that budget meeting, was the costs that were procured by the sanitary district this last year and how we want to capture those funds. I think we kind of had an idea that the budget might be somewhere around $30,000 if HR Green was going to do all the paperwork.
Right.
We were able to wrangle that in and use MAP. So I know that we did sign a contract with HR Green. I don't know if we ever did get totals on where we're sitting with that and how much we spent.
Not yet, no, I can do that though.
That'll be something that we should probably see exactly what we spent. And I'm sure we're not going to see that till the month of December. But we should reach out to HR Green to see where we stand. I think based on our budget here for the year, we could kind of tally up what the costs have been. But I think it's well less than $15,000. So that'll be something else that we'll have to talk about on that.
And then I think Chris had a question that we should get together and meet with him at some point. I'm not sure what time frame he's thinking of, but something we'll keep in touch with.
I'll let you set that meeting up.
Okay.
Is there any questions on expansion? Jeff? Okay, good, thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business. road snow plowing prep and survey. So as per our contract with the township, our snow plowing months start in November and they end in March. So they did reach out to Joe Heidelberg, he was at the last township meeting, and they did mention to him that we should reach out to them and set up a time to survey and meet to see if there's any changes or any concerns. I think we'll follow through with just the general rules. I don't know how did we go about it last year? Did we just send out a mailing on what the rules and regs were last year? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. We'll also be sending out a newsletter for October here, so
Okay.
we can add it to that as well.
Okay, we'll put that in the newsletter, basically, the general rules again, based on the contract, just as a reminder. But between me and Al, we'll talk about setting up a meeting with them this month. I think the two areas I'd like to really concentrate on are, again, down by Jim Bush's house, and then the roll-off extension there. Those, so we can settle on. That would have been the only two hot spots or any real concerns, at least last year, but it was a real light year last year.
Yeah, we put on, we assure them, we take care of it.
So we'll set up that meeting in October, and we'll have updates in November, because that's the start of the snow plowing. And then we'll get the updates and the rules and kind of the guidelines for plowing in that newsletter for October.
Yeah. So Heather had wanted to know if there's certain dates that you want me to propose
To meet,
to meet.
do you want me just to reach out to
Stan? Yeah, that'd be
Stan and John?
Stan and John?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can pass on that information, so Heather has it for their information?
Yeah, yep, that'd be great, thank you.
I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
But we'll follow through with that contract that we've signed, we just have to get under control for the year. All right, so that's snow plowing. One other thing for roads, I think, Al, you mentioned we still have to get those signs mounted, and you got permission?
I got permission now from Lee Hills.
Okay.
No problem.
So that'll be the more northern entrance, we will post one of those signs there. And the other one, I think it's still on my plate, just to get a stake out there and get another load locate so we can mount that sign on the other sign on the main entrance. Yep, the speed limit sign. So we'll try to get that done this month also. All right, moving into the channel project. Sue and that team has had a pretty good meeting this month. It sounds like there was some good progress.
Yes, we had a channel meeting last weekend, and we discussed how we were going to go forward once it's approved, and that we needed to submit a plan to the board to approve to use the 2 acres to put this, all the muck sediment that we pull out of there and place it on the 2 acres. So I wrote up a plan, I submitted it, and Rich, you had some questions, concerns, and returned it to me with such, and after our meeting and discussing those, we answered your questions and resubmitted it. So I'd like to know if the board, based on that, would be able to approve the use of those 2 acres.
I'm satisfied with the questions and the plan. I think once you move closer to it, there may be some small changes here and there as you set up. But I'm confident that, the residents have a pretty good plan to utilize that 2 acre lot and clean up and make sure, my main concern is make sure that there wasn't any spillage into the sewer system.
Yes.
So I'm okay with looking for a motion to use that 2 acre lot to put that, the spoils on that 2 acre lot and just kind of till it into the ground. So I'll be looking for a motion for that.
I do have one question. If there's spillage, what's the process to clean up the road? It says stop dredging immediately, any muck will be cleaned up by the residents.
Well,
Which residents? Like, how does that work?
at the meeting, I asked people, and we discussed that, who would be able to help,
Okay.
would be available. So say like, we've got a hose running from this end to that end of the building.
Yeah.
And if it does happen to start leaking in the road, we, whistle or whatever, and they stop pumping.
Oh, okay.
We go to that point of leakage and we deter
Yeah.
it from leaking and we clean it up, which shouldn't take much.
Okay.
And there'll be no couplings in the road to be run
Run
over,
over.
so if that did break, it wouldn't be in the road.
Okay.
So are they running it through the culvert underground?
During the pumping, I guess the plan was to go over the road,
Oh,
and then they'll, based on the questions and answers, they'll utilize the manpower to control traffic.
Okay.
And we'll decide what that's gonna be when it gets closer,
Tony said, the owner of the company, when I asked him about, how fragile the hose is and can it be, driven over, and he said that has never been an issue. And then plus the couplings wouldn't be on there, but as a group Saturday, we thought it might be best just to, stop the traffic there and have them use the entrance, like whenever there's any, repair on the roads and how we use, the back ways to get in and out. But it would only be for a few hours.
Yeah. There's options too, you can
Yeah.
always build a ramp over the hose, we do that on construction sites all the time, just to help, so you're not driving directly, it's just a matter of 2x10s and,
We talk about, not horseshoes, it's a really good name. Sawhorses.
sawhorses to control traffic, right? Again, I think it's a pretty good plan. I understand that it's gonna morph a little bit. Again, it's not hazardous waste.
No.
It's basically just, it's compost to a point, it's dirt, it's all organic. Whatever it is, cleaning up the mess is not gonna be that major if there is a mess. So, and I think I'm pretty confident with all the people along the channels that they're gonna do their best to keep our neighborhoods.
Well, I just wanted to know how long it was going to take,
Okay.
but you already answered, so that's good.
Yep.
We can have a skid steer on site too, if it needs to be moved, some of it needs to be moved.
The original project time was 2 weeks, a
Oh, wow.
week for each.
Okay.
But that may be lesser now, just because of the areas that actually need pumping compared to, what it was before. There are areas now that may not need it, so. And then plus, making some changes with how we pump, making it more, user-friendly and whatever to get it done quicker. So we're hoping that it'll be less than 2 weeks.
And then weather-wise, does it have to be done before it gets real cold, or?
Well, yeah, based on the meeting we had Saturday, we're not looking at this fall.
Okay,
Actually, DNR is waiting to see the vote on this, submission to use the 2 acres
okay.
before they'll do the maintenance, because they want to see where we're putting that muck. And it can go in yards, and, the people who are on the channels have discussed that and how we want to do it. We want, use water bags, you want to do silt fence, just get additional hose and run it straight out. So there's all these scenarios to try and accomplish that, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I first motion to allow Sue and company to use the 2-acre property.
Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries to use the 2-acre lot.
Thank you.
This question and answer and this information stuff, Sue, you'll get that to Matthew, and he can post that on the website, and then we'll also just kind of, as an update,
That?
yeah, this basically kind of tells what exactly you're gonna
Yeah,
do.
I'll
so-
forward that to him when I did to you.
Yep,
Okay.
all right. Budget, adoption, 2025.
Excuse me,
Yep.
Jeff had a question about use of the property. At one point, we talked about the 2 acres to be able to use gardening in there. And he's been wondering about that, so I just brought it up, so.
What's your question?
Would you be interested in leasing it or selling parts of those lots so we could use it for herb gardening, regular gardening?
I think I'm open for anything, really, quite frankly. You know, selling it, I think we pretty much decided we're not gonna sell that particular piece of property. But we're always open for ideas on how to utilize it. Right now, we're deciding to utilize it for cleaning out, you know,
For the ditch.
for the ditch, cleaning out the channel, which
Channel.
I
It'll
think
be
we,
very nutrient rich.
yeah. You know, there's been talk of using it for storage. There's been talk about using it for, you know, community garden. I'm open for anything, but whatever we decide, it would have to be, people would have to propose a plan, right? And then we'd have to kind of take surveys and then see how the community feels about any particular plan. And then we go through the approval process that way, because it belongs to everybody within the Shorewood Park Sanitary District. So, because we're all, you know, that's how we pay for the taxes, so.
How's it zoned?
It is zoned agricultural,
Agricultural.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. Right now, it's zoned, all the property up there is, I think there's 20 acres up there, 18 acres total, or 20, and we own 2, and the other owner owns 18 of that property up there. So it is zoned agriculture right now.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I'd be interested in leasing part of it, so that I don't have to put a garden in my front yard.
And then I guess, you know, and it would just, it could be a plan, and we want to know how it's taken care of, and make sure, you know, for any kind of particular plan. They talk about, you know, making it storage, put Class 5 in every parks, their fish houses and everything, just to keep it combined. But then, you know, who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna take care of it, you know. Whatever's done there, we don't wanna hear a bunch of costs.
Right.
Right.
Well, and you can generate revenue from
Yeah.
it too, right, if you charge
Yeah.
for use of that property, so.
So we're open to any kind of plans. We take offers on, I don't think we're gonna sell it, but any kind of plans, if somebody wants to put a plan together.
Well, honestly, sorry, I just want to chime in. The members of our community pay their dues for all properties, you know, and we're just representatives of it. So I would say that as long as you just bring a proposal and we can look at it, the board will vote on it, and it's as easy as that, honestly.
I agree.
We don't want to charge anything, because I view it as you're already paying for it. You're already paying for the parks, you're paying for the, you know, it's all included in that $100 a month. So we want people to use it. It's been, honestly, in my opinion, it's been a source of, like, it's been a problem, because nobody really knows what to do with it. So we're inviting people to, like, such as Sue and yourself, to, you know, propose what you'd like to do. And I'd love to see it used as for a garden.
Yep.
So we just submit it on the website?
That'd be a good place to start, a submission right there, yeah. If you want to get a group of people together and, you know, it's 2 acres, draw up an idea, propose it. You know, again, I'm all for it.
Well, who would be open to it? Like anyone, or do you have to be part of Shorewood? Because I'm out, I guess I'm kind of part of this.
You are part of the Shorewood Park Sanitary Sewer District.
Okay.
Correct.
We're just not connected to the sewer system.
Okay.
At this point, and right now, you're not, well, actually, you are paying.
Yes, he is.
Yep, so the 2 properties in Rush Lake Estates, once they start paying their fees, part of those fees goes towards that. You know, that's, you know, based on the budget, kind of split it up in a couple of different things, roads and parks, and then the actual sanitary portion of it. So, yeah, we're open for just about any ideas, I guess.
And our assumption now, Sue, is probably dredging in the spring, hopeful? Or will it be next
Well,
fall?
we discussed that also in the spring because of the limitations of when we can do it, because of spawning, and then, you know, depending on the weather and ice out, and that we are leaning towards just doing it again in the fall.
Next fall, okay. So
If
any
we can get in
proposal?
there before the frogs lay down and, you know, all,
Yeah.
it's
So any
it's very
proposal
fragile.
beyond that would be probably for next, for 2026, then. If it's only do gardening type things or proposals for that, so. Just looking at a time frame.
I see what you're doing, your time, whatever plans.
Yeah,
are.
I mean, if Jeff wants
Right.
to, propose a gardening area for people, it would have to be after you dump your dredging out there.
Which would probably be to an advantage of a garden anyways.
Right.
The soil's going to be a lot richer at that particular point in time.
Probably looking at 2026 before garden would be done, so just looking at that.
Well, honestly, like, harvest would be done by, October,
Yep.
so.
Well, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think you could shoot
Probably
one garden
next
one way or
year.
the other, and I don't think you guys are gonna use up the whole 2 acres anyways, even if there's a lawn there, so.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think that,
Have to get a tractor.
That actually brings up a good point. Where are they gonna dump it on the 2 acres? Are they gonna dump it way in the back, or like,
Well-
can we designate where they dump it? Because if Jeff's gonna put a garden there, he ain't gonna wanna, go around the muck pile to his garden, you know what I mean?
I think we're getting
Well, that muck will dry in a couple
I
weeks.
think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves too, yeah. Based on what we seen last year with Joe, I think those are issues we could solve regardless, depending on when the whole process is. It's like, if they decide to put a garden in, we approve it before the spring of next year. I think there's a little bit of work to prep that property, and then there's, a little bit of work there too. So I don't think that would hold up any kind of a garden right now, putting the dredging in there. I think we could work through just about any scenario on that, so.
With this test project for the DNR to come out and watch that process. You've seen we have the silt fence up,
Yep.
and just waiting for DNR. Once they come out and watch that, we'll have muck that we can take over there and just kind of see how everyone's going to accomplish that.
I think
It won't be hosed over.
I think as far as prioritizing what we want to do with that property, I think taking care of the channels probably is more of a high priority than creating a garden there in the short term, because of how that is going to benefit the lake and more, the people and our properties of that whole process of cleaning out those channels. So I think that project probably is a priority in my eyes. I don't know how anybody else kind of looks at it. Getting those waterways cleared and usable for everybody, I think that adds more value to our community than a garden at this particular point in time. I think that's important to get those channels cleaned out.
And that muck, like we were saying, is gonna be more valuable for a garden afterwards, because to be sold with our food.
Do you have any utilities on the 2 acres? Is there electric, water?
No,
There's nothing there.
nothing there.
Is there anything running through it?
None.
No pipes or cable?
It used to be, there might be some abandoned pipes in there, because that used to be that was the mound system before we created the ponds. So there may be some infrastructure that would have to get cleared out of there, deep dive, but there's no way for me to know other than, talk to HR Green. But
Well, you still want to have utilities down on the market, right? Just to make sure there's no
right,
power cables
yeah,
or
right.
anything buried through.
I think if somebody was gonna dig and put some sort of a structure there, they're gonna find some stuff there. What, I'm not sure, I'm not quite sure how that system was set up before. I think there were some record drawings, we'd have to look at that. But I'm not quite sure how that laid out on that 2 acre lot, but it was the mound system for the original. So I would imagine that was flattened out at one point, because you don't see mounds there now, so.
The PVC pipe buried in there.
Yeah, yep, exactly. All right, any other questions about the channel? We approved that information, I think we can move on. Okay, budget. Since I missed the meeting, Dean, Tina, do you want to kind of fill me in on how that budget, like how that worked out for our budget for 2025?
We did a couple little adjustments, but basically what you had presented before was approved at a budget meeting and to go forward with that. The shortfall, we've got $3,244 for the budget. We kind of discussed that as our assessment for the expansion area from the money that we've owed that comes in from the county. I think that's approximately $14,000 a year. That's not accounted for with our budget numbers. So that's excess money that we could use for shortfalls for the next, I think, I believe, two more years, that we'll be paying for that through the county assessment rolls.
Okay, so we don't have to balance that shortfall out? I mean, even realizing we do have funds coming in, that's the approach that we're gonna take, we're gonna carry the shortfall?
That's what we had talked about at our meeting,
I guess I'm okay with that. I don't see a negative to that. Just we're showing that on our budget throughout the year, right? Are there any other comments on that?
We overestimated on several categories where we all felt comfortable that carrying that extra $3,000 is not gonna sink the ship.
No, I agree. I mean, there were several categories that we did spend that money this last year, but we need to keep it there in case something does happen, such as, our pump station maintenance and the plowing and so on and so forth. So I'm glad we stayed solid on those. Those are big main PM items that we have to, carry on, so. I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the budget for 2025,
Didn't we already approve it?
unless you guys,
We had our meeting. but
We did,
it's
yeah.
official.
I
okay.
didn't know if we wanted to do it here also or not.
Well, then I think it's been approved in the special meeting, right? As per, were there minutes taken at that meeting?
Correct, yep.
Okay, all right. So this is the approved budget for 2025, and we will post that. All right, is there any other new business? I don't hear anything. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.